Did Yeshua quote from the book of Enoch? Many say that Yeshua referred to the book of Enoch as the scriptures in Matthew 22 and Mark 12. So let's take a look. Let's read from Matthew 22, verse 23 to get the context. On that day, some Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to Yeshua and questioned him. Their question was this: in regards to the life of a married woman, if this married woman had 7 husbands throughout her lifetime, then she dies, which of the men does she belong to at the resurrection, the afterlife? Yeshua responds in verse 29. He says, "But Yeshua answered and said to them, You are mistaken, since you do not understand the scriptures nor the power of Elohim. For in the resurrection, the afterlife, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. But regarding the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was spoken to you by Elohim? For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of Elohim in heaven." In short, Yeshua says there isn't any contradiction or complication. Resurrected human beings will be like the angels in one respect. Men will not marry, and women will not be given in marriage. Marriage, the pairing of couples for life, will cease to exist in the afterlife. As eternal beings, angels do not reproduce and do not practice marriage. Humans in the afterlife will apparently exist in that non-married, non-reproducing status also. Hence, we will be like the angels in that sense. Now, there is no quoting of Enoch found in these verses. Yeshua is speaking in his own words thus far. But even if we were to entertain the idea that Yeshua quoted Enoch 15, verse 3 to 7 at this time, then it would be a huge contradiction. For Enoch 15, verse 3 to 7 was speaking to angels and how angels are not to come to earth in this age, and for these angels not to marry women. So, if Yeshua was quoting this to respond to married humans in the afterlife, this would have nothing to do with what the Sadducees asked and would be nonsensical. Enoch 15 is about this lifetime and is speaking to fallen angels before the flood, how they are told not to come to earth and not to marry human women. The book of Enoch explicitly states that they, that is, fallen angels before the flood, took wives for themselves. The Sadducees in Yeshua are talking about the afterlife and about humans marrying each other, not whether angels could come to earth and marry women before the flood. Matthew 22 and Mark 12 is about a righteous human woman, and if that righteous human woman is still married to one or all of her 7 former righteous human husbands after she dies and resurrects. So the answer is no. Yeshua does not quote Enoch 15, and if he did, he would be way off topic. Yeshua simply said we will be like angels in the sense that we won't be getting married or reproducing in the next life. In all due respect, to say Yeshua quoted Enoch here is just a bad argument from the pro-Enoch side. It's a quick one-liner, and that if you dig deeper, even with a one-day study, this idea that Yeshua quoted Enoch or called Enoch scripture falls apart easily. But when exactly does Yeshua quote scripture? In Matthew 22, we see him quoting scripture by the time we get to verses 31 and 32. So let's read. It says, "And as for the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was said to you by Elohim?" Verse 32. "I am the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob." He is not Elohim of the dead, but of the living. Yeshua was quoting in verse 32, Exodus 3:6. I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob. The scripture Yeshua is quoting is not found in Enoch, but in Exodus 3:6, which the Sadducees would understand to be considered scripture. Remember, no Jewish leader of that time, including the Sadducees, thought Enoch was scripture, and neither did Yeshua. There was never any book called Enoch in the canon of the Old Testament. I say this in love. I hope everyone really dives deeper into these Enoch assumptions. I would like to see us all more united in Yeshua. And sadly, I've noticed over the years that Enoch has divided us in many ways. So let's test all things and hold fast to what is good and true. Thank you and shalom.